Uh, okay, are we on? Everything's good. Welcome to another stream. Um, so, we stopped last stream by announcing our new video editor project side quest that might not become the primary project. Originally, we were working on an application for time-lapse videos with one camera doing multiple time lapses. And then after we started streaming, we had 3 big streams and a couple of more videos that we wanted to repurpose, make shorts out of, make a medium to long YouTube video, because we already spent the effort and we want to do something with the content and share it. And not everyone likes lives. The pace is slower. There's a lot of dead air. There's a lot of waiting. I mean, different content type for different people. We want to reuse the content we are making and produce other content from it that other people would like to consume as shorts, as medium format. Possibly also have like just text posts and articles from it, at least like update posts of this is what we worked on, this is what we're doing, this is our latest progress. There's a lot of basically devlogs in different formats, tweets, articles, videos, everything. Yeah, so I've tested a lot of different video AI editors, create short clips and create other things. I wasn't super happy with either one of them. I've used this script before, which is like a like transcript-based video editor, which is kind of nice. I only tested the free version, meaning I didn't actually produce a full video from it, and I couldn't use much of the features. I think they're doing themselves a disservice with that, maybe because of costs. I should actually get used to starting out with just showing my full camera, because I'm just speaking and explaining what's going on. Not a lot to show at the moment. That's one of the things. I want the video editor to be able to remix the videos. Actually, some of them do. I don't wanna discredit anyone. So one of the ones I actually kinda partially liked was called Clap with a K. Um, it was kinda interesting in the fact that it actually created better shorts than the other ones. It actually usually most of these short producing platforms give you around say 20 clips max, and you go over them and you look and which ones you liked and which you didn't. And I didn't like most of them. Clap actually produced 2 or 3 that I liked. I think I've kind of used 2 of them in the YouTube channel. I think I've said that before. They're not perfect. As I'm looking into a lot of like content production in terms of videos, there's 2 aspects. You have 2 people. You have the person creating the content and you have the editor. While the editor can do a lot of stuff, a lot of things, usually video editors don't do stuff Hollywood style. They don't generate new content. They don't fix your content. So if you filmed content that sucks, they're not going to do much with it. They're not going to change your audio track. They're not going to change your video track. They can cut small parts of the video track to put B-rolls in. They're not going to change your voice much for the most part. Although there are platforms, including the script, that would actually redo your voice. They're training on your voice, and they allow you to edit the text and generate the audio. And possibly they sound not too bad. I've not actually personally used it, but I've seen a couple of vids and some look decent. If it's just small fixes, it might be better. Um, Not sure if I'm going there and when and whatever. Um, I just, in a way, it's like I didn't like the platforms and I'm rebuilding it for myself. I'm, as you go through the project, as I go through the project, I have not necessarily made all the decisions. I did not make like a business plan and like a huge planning sections of what I'm gonna do. At first, I thought it's more generic, and the more I think about it, the more I'm tending to make it like specific, or at least initially the marketing and the naming and branding and everything would be specific to streamers, maybe even specific to streamers who code. First, it would be non-gaming, and then it might be gaming. At least how I think I would approach this, because currently, I don't know, I interact with couple of other streamers, and a couple of them found interest in it, and these guys are like me, developing some kind of software product. And give me a second. So, like me, the other streamers are developing some kind of software and they stream for hours. And I'm thinking, you spend all these hours, you might as well do something with it. If you try to use a video editor, you'll know it's very, very time consuming. First of all, you need to watch your video pretty much. Yes, there are tricks. One of the biggest tricks is to create markers while you stream and decide. While you stream, this is probably a good take. This is a good point. There are two ways about it. One is actually create clip, which goes back some seconds, usually 30 seconds or so, and clips back the last 30 seconds and like here's a made out clip. Of course, you can photo edit it. You can see in the platforms they offer viewers would actually do the clipping. They again get the whatever. I think in one of the platforms you get even like 3 minutes to create up to 30-second clip, and you go over and decide what to slice, and then that's your clip. A streamer cannot do it live. It's too much. If it's too time consuming and distracting from the main thing, which is streaming and entertaining the audience and sharing and actually doing work. So that's not viable. So streamers either can do the clip, whatever was set, usually around 30 seconds, or they can do markers, and the markers are useful for the editor later on. Even if you are still the editor, you can still see them. There's a couple of ways there, but basically you can see it in the video editor, whatever the timelines that were marked. It's nice when you're proactive about it, when you know what's gonna be your clips. There are a couple of streamers that you see actually record for YouTube, so they can mark those, or they can, you know. So like in Hollywood, you have like the clapper, which is the marker. Some people can have their own marking either by sound or text or anyway, you mark the video. It doesn't matter really how. There are a couple of ways. There are technical ways and there are like soft ways, either sound or visuals or speaker. Like, so what I'm even thinking with the video editor is notice some kind of keywords. Since we're doing an LLM, it can pretty much read whatever words you'd set for it, or whatever words you'd think of after the fact. So you've used the terminology, okay, so let me show you what we have now or something, and you can make that a tab. Or whatever whatever you can think of. It's like, I got this idea, okay, cut over there. Does not matter at all what you want the trigger to be. Sorry. Where was I? Yeah. Sorry, I was just thinking to check the audio before I discover I've streamed for several hours and there's no audio, neither in the stream nor in the recording. There's a lot of small things when you stream that you need to think about. Yeah, I stream to multiple platforms. You need to somehow see those. Um, lots and lots of stuff. Okay. So what happened since the last stream? We actually told you about the two first versions I had. I had one version of the editor which was a complete CLI, and I've showed some of it, although it wasn't the actual final version. We had a small web version that we started. It was a weird web version. It looked fine for a user. It was not really good in a technical sense for all my plans. What we had there was some kind of Python framework creating the visuals. The problem is it was not modern technically to have all the niceties you usually have in web interfaces with like animations and reactivity, and it did not provide the ability to test components separately, which is something I really want. It's something that I created even for the mobile app from before. Not sure what's going on. Sorry. Um, so I went on a couple of rewrites. They were really heavy and broke a lot of things and took a long while and a lot of calls and like my spend suppose with this project is already, I've seen the number before, like if I actually paid for everything was 125 US just in API calls. Um, I do have the Gemini trial, which is like a 90 days, $300 free. I assume I will run out of time before I run out of the allocated funds. I also use, because actually Gemini has not been that nice in terms of availability. There's like system overload, and now you cannot use anymore out of resources, whatever. I get it for the big model, but some for the Gemini 3 Pro, but sometimes it also errored for the Gemini Flash 2.5. That's my normal, less intelligent model that I use. So I also use the GPT-5, different ones, and I also tried Claude. Claude is really, really expensive. It spends in like less than an hour, even 20 minutes, what I would spend in like 3 to 5 days. Really, really expensive. And I would not say that it does any better job than the others. I don't think it's worth it. I think it's overrated. I think it's just not worth the money. Not saying Claude is bad. It's just very expensive and not that much better to justify the price. Okay, so what do we have? I'll share the screen. Oh, wait. So from having like a Python Flask, Python as the backend, creating HTML, which is pretty bad. I tried to create a Svelte project, which is the frontend that I like best and know from manually programming it. It doesn't do as well with AI coders, honestly. Maybe I should have rethought that and have done React or something that's more known to AIs because it's a more popular framework and has more documentation on it. But but I think the problem is with all the front-end frameworks is that they released a lot of versions and they broke a lot of things between versions. And when you use the AI coder, somehow a lot of times it tries to use older version techniques because it just uses whatever is stored in its knowledge. Yes, you can add MCPs for the documentations, which I started doing. Um, not sure what's going on today. I think the kind of crazy. we're doing the grass and everything. Today's the day. And because it's been a bit hot, I think there's like pollen everywhere, and I'm choking a little bit today. I'm sorry. But yeah. Living in Australia, specifically Melbourne, that's part of the ecosystem is there's a lot of pollen and there's a lot of allergies. Uh, yeah. Okay, so after having the weird versions, maybe I'll open first my speaker. After having the Flask version, so I've tried to have the Svelte version. I let AI work on it and I tried to correct it, and it had a lot of horrible issues trying to integrate them. Basically, I didn't get anything. Like nothing would render or nothing would work after it would render, but mostly nothing would render. And it like AI thought that this was the best course as it was the smallest change, is to keep Python as serving the HTMLs, but have Svelte as the framework. And that did not work one bit. I've spent way too long on this to give AI a chance. Give LLM a chance. Give AI a chance. Give AI a chance. Anyway, I gave up and I told it to let's rethink this. I actually want a bigger separation between the front end and the back end. I want Python to only be the back end, and for the front end, we'll use Svelte with SvelteKit, I guess. I wasn't even sure then. I was like, I want Svelte as the full thing, and I want Python to only be the backend API. I didn't even necessarily want to keep Python. I thought maybe we'll go full Node.js, which means the front end and back end together are in the same technology, but AI discouraged me. I'm not sure if it knows what it's talking about. I don't know if I'm falling for an LLM trap that presents itself as smart and knowledgeable and actually makes mistakes. Um, the thing the thing that got me is the mentions around. So I told it to ask me questions, and the two big things that we were discussing is Whisper. We're using Whisper, which is one of the most known projects, but I let the LLM integrate it. I don't know much about Whisper. The only thing I know about Whisper is the fact that it transcribes audio and it's considered pretty good, and it uses the GPU if you have it to do it faster. And it was we used Whisper since the CLI version, and it worked well. I did not go into too many details. It just did its job. And and that basically AI claims that Whisper is working best with Python while you have npm packages that can access it. They have a lot of bugs and they're not very good. Also, the other thing was around downloading YouTube videos, which we want to support, to be able to just have the import your video and process from there. Um, there is some utilities or some library it uses to download the video, and I don't remember the name and the details, but it said, oh, that again works really well in Python. It's not well supported in the other languages or have a good replacement. So basically, recommended we stick with these two Python libraries over converting them to npm libraries. And at that point, I kind of surrendered because we also want to reuse the code, and it sounded kind of reasonable. And yeah, hopefully this would be a good idea. So at that point, we started separating and having the converting all the front end to Svelte with SvelteKit and leaving the Python stuff the backend is Python stuff. So Python would be creating like a database, running Whisper, running downloads, doing processing, or like FFmpeg is also something we're using, and it's attached well to Python. We didn't specifically discuss that component. I think we did have a mention where it would be easier to package it with Python than with something else. I think NPM uses it as a OS library instead of being able to embed it somehow. Yeah, I didn't get into the details, but it was pretty convincing to kind of keep Python. Again, I'm not sure if LLM was just fooling me with this, but I kind I kind of took the advice and kept that, and that's where we are. So after we started converting, I started taking care. So the entire thing, if you look at the bigger picture, is like I had a this works for me version, and then my next milestone was I want to share this with others. I want to be able to give it to others. Um, at some point, maybe paid, probably at the start for free, but I want to be able to for others to use the system. The system is locally hosted. It's not a web service. I've considered a web service. It looks a bit like a web service or functions partially as a web service, but it's just a local web service. It's not yet meant to be a multi-tenant, basically hosted cloud version for multiple people. It's not yet there. It might not even go there. I'm not sure yet. There are advantages in keeping it local. I think as a unique selling point, it's really interesting because people can try it locally. I carry no expense if they run it locally. They use their own hardware for like Whisper. They use their own API keys, and there's no cost for them trying it. So yeah, I can offer bigger free trials for people, or even just leave it for free. The thing is, I'd probably want to make a free version that the only thing from the videos would be like a signature by the software, just a signature with the brand. So people that see the videos can also get the software, and this would be like a viral, viral marketing because any person that uses it, the free version actually just spreads the name of the tool. And if you want to remove the watermark, then you need to pay. And because that means basically I can offer everything for free, and that will self-market itself. And since I don't carry a cost, that would be fine. That's that would not work the same if I run it as a web service, because as a web service, I need to pay the cost for the API, for the transcriptions, for everything. And then I have to put some limits, and some people abuse it, and etc. etc. This is just kind of it's logic to justify what I already have and the way I'm going. It's not it wasn't necessarily planned out. It's just like I started with something and then I've considered my options. I've not done a desktop app since probably school, like 20 years ago or something. Um, I've worked in web services a lot, so I know a lot of web. Um, so this product is also running still has a web look, has a web technologies. It's a web app, although it's going to be a local web app. That's the current path. Could change at any point. Um, I don't know desktop, and I don't think I want to study desktop too much to make an actual app that looks like an actual app. Currently, this is packaged as a server that you would have locally, and you would actually access it via browser just to your local host instead of an actual website. So it's still a web app, it's just a local web app, which is like non-orthodox combination. It's a weird combination, but should be fine. We're starting. we're starting, we're trying for the easy fruit, and we think later of other things. I think I could have it later as two different versions, the locally hosted one and the cloud one, where the cloud one is quick and dirty, or people that don't have a good they don't have a computer with good hardware to render those, so they would still be able to use it. I'm not sure if it has an advantage. It's probably not relevant for my first cohort of targets. So like when I talk about streamers, they would have decent hardware to be able to stream properly. That's I actually operated my computer just to be able to stream properly. So my laptop without an external GPU was pretty horrible at encoding. It just consumed. So I did not. My laptop, I think, is like 5 years old, and it doesn't have basically hardware encoding that's relevant. So it's software encoded. Actually got some hardware encoding, but even with the hardware encoding, pretty much 30% of the CPU went away just to stream, and a little bit more if I record, and I wouldn't even think about multi-platform streaming. And actually doing heavy stuff like opening the Android Studio was the no-no, and doing anything else was like, nah, no way. Yeah. So you kind of need decent hardware to do streaming. So if I target streamers, they would have good hardware, or at least decent. I don't know how to call it. So you would probably have an external GPU that's half recent. If we're talking NVIDIA, while 50, the generation of the 50s is nice, 40s absolutely work, 30s possibly also. So this is like at least, I don't know, this would be from the last 2 years, I'm guessing. I didn't actually check all of that. That's not the most important thing for me. Um, I'm just saying basically they're not gonna have a very old computer that doesn't work. So they're gonna have some discrete hardware GPU that probably Whisper will be compatible with. And they're probably gonna be a bit knowledgeable in like, oh, uh, you're giving me instructions to go and get API keys. Yeah, sure, okay, that's fine. I'll go to like 5 configuration pages to get this working. Um, that's something I don't think the broad audience of video app editing would be happy with. That's when you do SaaS, when you do web services, you get rid of all of that. So you, as the host of the app, usually connect to the APIs with your own account. So it's not bring your own keys is the term people use in AI. Bring your own keys. It's fine. It's like bring your own alcohol is usually the thing here. Um, they just call it bring your own. Bring your own is bring your own alcohol. That's in Australia. Bring your own keys means basically the tool is provided, but you need to bring the keys, and you pay the AI providers directly. It's either the AI provider platforms, basically, because you have the models and you have the platform providers. So um, GPT-5 OpenAI is both creates the models and provides, but if you want to use one of the free, okay, I think this is getting too much technicals, and I need a short break, and I'll be right back in like 5, hopefully 5 to 10. Um, sorry. And I'm back. Yeah. So I've blabbed a lot about the background. Let me start showing some stuff. So if you've never tried this, there's a new tool from Google that's called Stitch. I think it's from Google because it's with Google.com. People called it Google Stitch. So what it does is it does screen designs, coded web screen designs, either for apps or websites. For some reason, I mean, it defaults to mobile apps. So that's what I've used, although it depends what you want to accomplish, I guess. So this is one of the first designs I had. Not sure how the resolution looks. Well, hopefully this is clear enough. Doesn't matter because what we're looking for is the design. You don't actually need to read the entire text. Um, I think this is the design I had just generated by the original AI, not within Stitch, and then I brought the image here. Or it might have been the first version I've generated with Gemini. Already forget. With Stitch, I mean. I think this is what I brought in. This is called image PNG. I think the rest are called different, right? Yeah. So welcome to. So this is the image I brought in, and I wasn't happy with this for the first user experience. Like I wanted the functionality of both of these. So either you provide a directory, and we're going to look at all the videos, which is how my original version worked, the CLI, and then the web version. But so when I was considering that milestones of sharing it with other people, and I know when I talk to streamers, they're like, "Oh, so I just give it my YouTube URL and it does the thing." Like, well, yeah. I mean, you could, but that's not what I hope people would do long term. But it it might be easiest short term because not all streamers, I assume, record all the videos and save them, and because it's another thing. It's more hardware. Possibly you need storage for it, and you need to do something with it. It does create way better quality videos. Um, and when editing, you want the higher quality because you're going to reduce quality in a way. Like sometimes people record in 4K to produce 1080p videos or 2K videos because it allows them to crop and still retain maximum quality. A lot of times people basically you want to film in a higher quality than you need to produce. So recording on top of streaming allows you to do that. That's pretty simple to do with OBS Studio, which is the biggest tools used by streamers. It should be easy to do with other tools as well. That's pretty basic uh, functionality, but people probably don't use it because it takes a lot of storage, and if you don't have anything to do with it, it's just like another thing. And why do you need to keep up with this? So I want long term to push people into recordings, but I wanna enable them to take the already existing stream that was saved into YouTube or Twitch or other places and just use that as the starting point. You can see the first one just talks about YouTube. So from there, I started prompting the AI to have a different version. So you remember I mentioned it defaults to, let's see if I can make this a bit bigger. So it defaults into web app mode. So you'll see the portrait design. I get rid of a couple more things to make it easier to see. So it did change the layout from two parallel to each other to two on top of each other just to fit the portrait, the vertical mode for phones. I did ask to simplify and we removed a lot of things, and I wanted the first one to be more emphasized. So this is like the second design. Wasn't really happy with it yet. Um, so I kept iterating. I deleted at least one version, but you can see how we kind of evolved from our first one that has tons of text and parallel and maybe is balanced, but it's not very marketing wise and user experience to have a user experience, an initial experience with the software. Like I want you to have that. What you want in user design is basically point their eyes into stuff and have like primary action and maybe secondary action. You don't want the eyes jumping around. So here I'm jumping between icon 1, icon 2, button 1, button 2. And then, so these are like, if someone explained it as like first view, second view, third view. He was talking, it was actually a game design conferences. I forget the name. People that are into games, they see a lot of this conference as it has a lot of good tips, a lot of good like what do they call the sessions? People talk about how they design the video games, sometimes even board games and other things. And he talked about having the design be like um, concerts, 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 concert posters. So concerts posters, you see them first from afar. You probably want to see the band name and maybe when it's happening, but details like where could be on a second view, so you don't have to. So from afar, you needed to scream the things you want to communicate, which is probably the band name, assuming they're known, or the style of music, or that it's a special event like a Christmas celebration, Christmas carols. You want something the first view to catch the eyes and communicate directly. This is for you. And then the second view, you can bring in some more details, and then the third view, the small lawyer text of all the other details. Or like, where do you actually get tickets? When are they sold? Do you have to make some disclosures and other things? So you want to control the first view. What does the viewer sees? Where does he go next? And what does he want to do? So we're trying to reduce by reducing the text. You see that the big text is just, what is this? This is local recording and this is YouTube or URL. But we still have the recommended, the select folder. The paste URL is not very clear here. And it's not very attractive. So on the second one, I started talking about like having the URLs to have Twitch on top of YouTube and to have something to balance on the local folder. But this still is not very good. So this started being a version I liked a bit more and starts to be more similar to what we actually are using at the end. There are the icons here, but this text, like, I really like that if the emphasis was for this block. Because it's the most colorful thing on the page. It actually has like the brand colors for YouTube and Twitch, which are really recognizable to that people that are deep into it, like creators and stuff. They would immediately recognize this is YouTube to Twitch. You don't have to specifically say it, but they know it. The text is there, but like just this text is awesome. If you wanted to say something, this is for YouTube and Twitch. This color gradient for some text is excellent. But actually, I don't want that as the primary thing. This should be the secondary thing. And the directory is fine and whatever. I don't remember why this was generated. I don't think this is very good. What's interesting here is it started creating it like an application. So you have like the homepage and videos and some news and something that looks like you're gonna play or read the news. I think, oh, this is probably the first version I asked to have like bright and dark theme. You can see the buttons here, bright, dark, auto. There's some config of that. So it started showing like this would be a full application thing. But I was not really interested in that at that moment, or until still at the moment. I don't really care. I think what I said is like I don't want an app. I think I just went to reference the older one and ignore that one. If I'm not mistaken, I also asked for a dark version at some point that I deleted because I was like, oh, I'm not done with the main design yet. So we went back to the main design. You can see it because the theme toggle buttons come after, but they don't exist in this design. So we went like version back and reiterated from that version. What changes between this top version and this version? I'm not sure. They actually look pretty similar. Maybe it was just a recreate. And from there we went and added the theme toggles here. Pretty much the same except that. And then I started going and trying to understand how do I emphasize the top block and not the bottom block. So you can see this is more emphasized top block, the big browse files button instead of the small one. There are like these card layouts, the round emphasis with the corners. This starts looking way better in my eyes. I'm not saying I'm like a big designer or anything, but like I know some of the basics. Probably if I show my designs to like I show my design to others and it's not impressive, it's technical. I get the technical right, I don't get anything that's design is like visually appeasing to people that people would say this is pretty. There I'm not into that. I'm not up to that level, and I don't know if I'll ever be because I guess that's not my focus. My focus is not very artistic. I do take interest in that, but I don't expect to be proficient in that so much, right? So we have this version, this starts looking good. And then still I'm unhappy with the bottom attracting too much attention. So as much as I love this idea, this doesn't fit to what I need. It's like it hurt a bit to have this removed because it's the thing I've liked most about the design. But it's not what I need because I don't need people's attention over there. So I actually asked for this to be removed, and you can see a little bit of change. I asked that to be more faded out. Yeah, I think this is, yeah. So this is the design that actually I've asked AI to implement. So from here, after you get these, you can go and export the code. Maybe because I'm like in a display mode, yeah, on top. You can have export, view code, download. In export, you can go and then copy. I don't know all the options. I don't know what AI Studio is. I think it's the Google's equivalent to all the online IDE tools like whatever, Hateable and stuff. Basically copy to clipboard, press copy, and then I took it to AI and told it, this is how I want the thing to look. I've also asked, what do we call this, Stitch? Google Stitch to show me how does it look with the dark theme. So basically just switch the background to black and the text to white and did not change much else. So I didn't even bother giving it to AI, at least not yet. So basically this is our base version that we went off. And we have this partially working in the app, and we can jump forth and get rid of this one. So what we have is our project, and we have Storybook that I can show later. But we go. This is no, don't tell me I broke it. Of course I broke it. Why would I not break it? Let's see. Maybe if I'll restart it, it will look better. Probably not. So this is our terminal, which runs actually three different things. There's the Python backend. Actually, yeah. There's the Python backend. There's the SvelteKit stuff, and there's Storybook. And Storybook reopens every time you start it. Okay, so this is our Python. Oh, yeah, refreshing it actually looks good. So we have the dark mode, we have the bright mode, we have the automatic. The automatic means that this is kind of normal for most modern interfaces, or at least ones that support dark and bright themes. Didn't want to open displays. I wanted to open dark mode, dark mode, dark mode, dark mode, dark mode, appearance. So basically, if OS level you're changing it to dark, also our application will change it to dark, which is really, which I think is how everything should work. That should be the default everywhere. I like dark mode. I'm using bright mode for the streams, but when I can in my personal life, I use dark mode. Why? Just because. Maybe because I'm a developer, maybe because I used to work at night, dark. Um, anyway. So yeah, we have dark. Um, so there's two sections. You see, my emphasis is trying to get you to use the recommended, the local recordings, but we also have import videos. I wanted it to look like a normal possibility. So you're looking at this and you're going like, I don't have recordings. Oh, import video, YouTube, Twitch. Yeah, I can do that. Um, what's interesting is I wanted the OS browser to be able to choose your folder. Yeah, it says this doesn't work, which I kind of believe. So there's some kind of library it uses. Of course, stuff doesn't work when you try to demonstrate it. You all know that. This worked before. Um, yeah, we can go to AI and say, um, let's just verify which model we're using first. GPT or Flash? Let's try to give Flash an opportunity. Although I don't expect it to actually be able to solve it. Um, in our welcome stream and under the local recording blog, we click the browse, we get an error instead of opening the special file explorer. Oh, should actually check this in. So we use network tools and the console would give you errors. I rather refresh this first. Um, hmm, if I press it, okay, this is the issue. Um, house shows this error. Same origin policy disallows reading the remote resource. Reason post did not succeed. Okay. Should I also show something else? Let's leave it at that. So those other arrows, XDR. I wonder if the other arrows are for the same reason. Did I lose my second screen? I lost my second screen. Come on. So there's an issue between AderDesk and my second screen thing. This is weird. A minute. No, we're gonna crash the stream. Yeah, just move along. Okay. Full screen. Big screen. Selector, you go in. Yeah. See the stuff work. Except I moved things around. Yeah. See this working. Yeah. Um fix. So the course has been updated to allow. Let's see. Refresh the page. Um Browse. No. Let me shoot. Oh, it says, should I believe him? I'm never sure if I actually need to restart the server or not, because the server actually reads files that have been modified. I'm never sure if to believe them. It's the same. Just paste it to make sure. I don't know if there was a small change. I didn't actually read the entire thing. Probably the same. Okay. I do wonder if all the other errors would be the same thing or different. This is a 500. Some of those things I feel like I fixed before. And value with the cheaper models. 500. And I see the errors here. Git proxy failure. Connection refused. What? Why would connection be refused? Wait on the server. It. I wanna verify. Course configuration has been updated to allow. This is a temporary change for debugging purposes. Please restart your backend, frontend. See, does it work without restarting? No. Let's try restarting. Not a storybook. Main page. Still the same. Still the same issue. No, not making me happy. What's up with this? Execute, like, yeah, execute. May I proceed? What does it want? Directly test the endpoint. Use. Okay. Analyze the clone output. Try it. So that's fine. What do you want? Yes. Why? What are you testing? Um, um, just checking the process screen. Process again, then we're gonna run something. The call failed to connect. Syndicated Flask server is either not running or not accessible. To resolve this, please ensure backend. But it is. There's the main page. Did I ask it about Favicon or about the version? APIs. Sometimes in parallel I lose where I started. I need to rename the tasks better. Not running. What do you mean? It's not running. Right. BYOK. Again. Payment. Okay, let's do something else. So our package. No. So package JSON is the npm. You see there's shortcuts here, so we can run only some of the services or all of them. I'm usually running all of them as one, but because it says we have an issue, let's npm run. Dev backend. Did I not copy it correctly? I think I copied it correctly. What do you mean? Oh, I'm probably not at the correct directory. That's the problem. Yeah, sorry. Okay, backend. Yeah. Great, understand. We have this issue. Yes, let's go to the page. Okay. Basically, the AI fucked us over. The backend Flask server is not running. There we go. Okay, let's do it. So the problem when you run all of the things together, all the messages get mingled and you miss stuff like that. See, that has been corrected. I don't think it's corrected yet. Oh, would be my issue. Not check. So I do source. Yeah. Let me make sure we do it correctly. So before I run it, I do the. Oh, come on, screen froze again. I don't like this capture card. I don't like this capture card. Just verify. So, does it get hot? No, it does not get hot. Just gets disconnected for no reason. Okay. Now, let's see. Let's see. Touch this. I'll need to reset the screen selector. Bring screen. That. Come on. This one. Go back. Bring this. Second one. Cooperate. Okay. Okay. Back. No. Come on, don't tell me it died again. Just a couple of seconds before. Oh. Um, um, let me start this again. I think maybe I need to not magic. It's bad magic. Says, oh, I change. What did this get? Okay, where's the card again? I hate this. Something else. Okay, okay. What change? Go get away and share the screen again. Oh, is this okay? See my mouse moving? No, cannot. Selector, view grid. Okay, it should be okay now. Yeah. Okay. Did I destroy other things? Yeah, I destroyed other things. This is fun. 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 Disappointing, disappointing. It's better. Why does it look like it's not until the end, or is this the... No, this is fine. Okay. So this is back, this is back. It's back. Stays here. Okay. It's okay. What happened with you? Okay. Backend. Just okay. Okay. Now I get this back. No, I don't. I think I lost the second screen. Go down. Put this back. Do I have the second screen again? Oh no. 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 Oh my god. When things don't talk your way. And I'm gonna take a break. This capture card just keeps dying. And this is the main screen you're seeing. And this was how I want things to work. But I know, some days it works, and today it's horrible. And I don't know what to do. If you know about capture cards, especially for Linux, or using them in Linux with hardware acceleration card that does crazy stuff, let me know. I'm kind of thinking of moving the capture card to be from the motherboard iGPU. Maybe things would act differently. Not sure. But I'm broken for now. Yeah, I'm gonna take a long break and see if I can figure that out. Honestly, probably done for today for streaming. Not for working, but for streaming. I would work on the streaming by testing the card differently, seeing if I can make this work. The problem is when I discussed with AI all my problems with the capture card, it said something to the terms of the issues probably with the what does it call it? Like the power management for the USB that goes to the capture card. And I've tried following the steps it suggested, and I thought it works because it didn't have any issues for an hour, whatever. But sometimes the capture card works for a long time. I had a stream for at least 3 hours, I think even more. Maybe with the break or an issue, it was probably over 4 hours that the capture card behaved mostly. But then sometimes, like now, it seems like I get less than 15 minutes. Sometimes, like within 2 minutes, that the capture card goes away. And then again, and every time this goes, I restart this and I need to reset the OBS studio and interrupt the flow totally. And a bit broken with that. Um, yeah. I'm not sure if trying to go from I don't think the output from the desktop doesn't matter if it's the GPU or not the GPU. Maybe it does, because it's the graphic card drivers that do a lot of crazy stuff for me. But it doesn't affect the second computer, not the card freezing. Card freezing is because it doesn't get power. It doesn't get power, it doesn't get USB power. USB power does not relate to the output of the computer. The output of the computer goes by HDMI, and the HDMI does not supply power to the capture card. The power is provided from the laptop, which is the destination computer reading the capture card. I'm not gonna keep restarting it. Powered hub was a hint. Well, my screen can act as a powered hub when I use the USB-A, and then maybe. Then I'll connect back the USB hub from the screen to the laptop instead of the desktop. Gonna be a weird setup, but maybe it will work because the power supply would be consistent from the monitor. Maybe that would fix my setup. Well, I'll try it, but it would be weird to keep streaming because I'm just gonna move cables around and it could be 2 minutes or it could be half an hour. Half an hour, be right back. It's really awful. Although I could be enjoying some exposure time on the platforms. I don't know. Maybe we'll be right back and try to work on this. Not camera full. Screen, full screen. Actor and main. Okay. Okay. I think I found the problem with the capture card. It's not the problem of the capture card. I think it's the Linux driver for the GPU. Yeah. Moved stuff and tested. Yeah. Might be able to move things back a bit, but okay. So now the main screen is so much smoother. Edit be really joggy. Laggy, joggy, choppy. Choppy? I don't know. Just moving the mouse around now feels so smooth. Moving the windows is it's crazy. Thought that was my destiny. Why? Destiny? Capture card? Anyway, drivers on the Linux drivers for GPU. Yeah. All the special window in multi-screen stuff. Yeah, it's a shame. Thought I thought that's not a thing anymore. I hoped that's not a thing anymore. Anyway, where were we? I have little recollection. Now we've passed some task to AI. I stopped it. Does it work now? So if I refresh the page, do we actually have the service starting? Oh, I wasn't sure if it's me or the actual server. This looks fine. Do I have three windows? Let's restart these. Browse files. No, I still have these. But this is running. So I wanted to run the backend and frontend separately. We're running the same together. So we want backend here, and oh, I think I already have this in copy. So we do backend here, and we do not copy. And I wanted to copy this and do front setting. We don't have to run straight front end. So this is not starting for some reason when oh nice, I can zoom in. These colors are horrible for this screen. Let's give it. What does it say basically? Some import, unexpected indent. Indent. This is Python. You must have the space in the right. Okay, so this is starting. This has started. There's storybook for later. Failed to. Oh, this is working. Browse. This opens. Okay. Generally, how do I go up? Up. We go directory up. What's this? Is this up? Yeah, this is up. Not code, but videos, streams. Maybe let's do stream. What does that? Just want to select it. This is kind of working. Fine. Did you wanna say okay? It's working. Said something like we shouldn't keep it. I don't know if I care. What's the other thing? Let's take some YouTube, whatever video. No. I keep changing my handle stuff. Should not do it. Should not do it. I wanna see my poor performance. Probably pause somewhere. Okay. This link. Downloading. Whatever. Did he put that thing back? I think he put that thing back. Open. This is fine. This is not fine. What does it want? What to do? I will provide final summary about fast source initially, and then the border name, finally refining the origins, back server activity, indentation, what's final. Okay. What I want the copy. Copy. Maybe the double works. Good. Okay. Okay. I've put some food. I'll be back after I've give it a mix, and I'll be right back. Give it a mix. Start it again. But I'll be eating soon off stream probably. That is page. Coming. Scroll through the chest. I'll be right back. I'm back for a couple more minutes, but we'll be breaking soon for the day, probably. And hopefully tomorrow will be a better stream. Configuration has been updated. Restart the Flask server. Not. I did not keep a URL, right? That's not. That was not smart. Oh, I'm going to get one. Want to copy and paste it here. And it's fetching and it's downloading and it's doing stuff. It's good. It works. say we did a thing. So now both buttons actually work, and it's just that moving to the next screen breaks, which is like the next thing to fix, because that thing used to work. But now also the next screen would need some fixing to adjust to being able to both browse directories, and we'll need to both be able to accept browse directories, which is the main thing that worked before, and getting uploaded videos. So, or downloaded videos. Um, so yeah, gonna do that next stream. We're getting closer for this being actually a shareable thing, which would make me happy. Might make a couple of more people happy if that actually works well. But so there's actually fixing things that worked before. Just this would be just kind of piping, I hope, like things worked and we just need them to work again. The difference is that the screens changed, the way the entire front end changed. The backend still exists. The old front end might be problematic. We'll see. We'll see. We'll probably do some we might or might not do some redesign there. Might have some more processes stuff. Because part of making it work for other people is allowing them to set up like the LLM model providers, the keys, selecting models, stuff like that. Should have decent default and make it just work. Like also the whisper thing. We try to make it just work, but should allow some configuration, some control, and actually letting people have the OK button, I think, because it's gonna be a heavy process. When I run it, I know, but like for people seeing it the first time, they should know that their computer's gonna spike up in usage. So if they're doing anything else that might break, they should be aware. So like if you're streaming and suddenly you have 100% spike in GPU, CPU, whatever, gonna break your stream. You're gonna have lost pockets and stuff. So you should be aware. Probably doing other stuff as well. Um, yeah, thank you for joining the stream and looking. Thank you for joining the stream and sticking around with me and seeing some of the things I do. We'll be back tomorrow. That's the plan. I might be a bit crazy and maybe have some, maybe a bit today, but probably tomorrow. Catch you next time. Bye bye. Bye.